Well, hello, guys. It's Frankie. Welcome to the think tank. Hello, good morning, James. I don't know. Today's Mother's Day. So, to all the ladies, happy Mother's Day. But I'm not sure. Do you guys have the same day in Scotland as we do? Is it Mommy's Day there? Oh, I forgot to hit that. But I did say hi. So, today I want to talk about Demetrius Robinson. So, it was him and a woman named Emma Bailey that were arrested not long ago for the death of a student. He had OD'd. So I thought I wanted to look a little bit further into Demetrius because they're trying to put Demetrius with Brian Kohberger. So I thought maybe we would go through him and then maybe I'll see what I can dig up later on Emma. Different day in Scotland, and thank you. What day is it in Scotland? I didn't know if we would have the same type of, I thought we might have the same holidays just due to being, you guys are under the Queen, right? Or under the King. So I don't know how any of that works. So let's see what we'll start with first. There's a lot out there about him. And I've basically just covered, maybe from about 2016. So let's start here. So, Tacoma man with extensive criminal history accused of assaulting and threatening a woman at a WSU hotel and reaches a plea agreement. This guy, I have a hard time putting him in there with Kohberger. I have a hard time seeing that. But at that said, it's probably not a bad idea to kind of look at everybody. And this guy's got a lot. So let's see here. A 34-year-old Demetrius Robinson pled guilty Friday in a Whitman County District Court to misdemeanor fourth-degree assault and harassment. Robinson had been in jail on a $250,000 bond since his arrest by WSU police in March. He was initially arrested for felony assault and threatened to unalive. Just a peach. WSU police arrested Robinson at the Marriott Residence Inn for allegedly choking a woman and threatening to unalive her. He reportedly tried to keep her in his hotel room. WSU police also reported they found a variety of narcotics inside his campus hotel room. Whitman County Court Judge Pro Tem Doug Robinson sentence, did they say that right? Pro Tem Doug Robinson Friday to 1 year of unsupervised probation and ordered him to pay $1.5 grand. So Robinson, local criminal history includes convictions for felony assault, charges from a jury trial in 2018. He was found guilty of assaulting an individual at, see, Jazzy's trying to say hi. So at a Pullman apartment complex in July of the same year. He was also arrested by Pullman police last summer for allegedly R-wording a woman inside a local residence. So he does have like a very bad history. He seems to like God Save the King. Oh, okay, March 10th. No, ladies. They have now gotten to the point that they think that, right? Hello, Jazzy. Lizzie sits here all nice and quiet and wags her tail and lets Jasmine do all the noise because she does it so well. And they know when I get on here, there's a chance that I'll give them cookies just to get them away from me. So they don't bark a lot. So yeah, let's see here. What else have we got? So this is fairly recent. Suspect in death of University of Idaho student from Boise has a criminal history, which we've just been looking at, right? He's been accused of multiple crimes in 2017, including assault. So it says here, one of the first people arrested in connection to the recent death of a University of Idaho student in Centralia, Washington, has an extensive criminal history. Tacoma man Demetrius Robinson, 36, was arrested along with a 22-year-old Moscow woman, Emma Bailey, on March 21st by the Centralia Police Department. So there are pictures going around. I didn't find a copy yet of oh no, I've got a copy of Demetrius and Emma. What I don't have a copy of is Emma coming out of that party at the King Roadhouse up against the picture of her that was taken from her car, because almost looking like they did capture her on video leaving the party on one of those camera videos. So they were booked into the Lewis County Jail on a charge of delivery of a controlled substance. Unreal. Robinson or Bailey are accused of providing illegal D-words to a 22-year-old male, later identified as University of Idaho junior Caden Young. Caden was from Boise and sadly was found deceased by a friend in his apartment. According to the Centralia Police Department's news release, a preliminary investigation revealed information that illegal things that was used was involved in his death. According to Lewis County, Robinson and Bailey still remain on $100,000 bond. Yeah, when you are starting to kill people through ODs, you're in a spot that is way past society helping you, in my opinion. They entered a non-guilty plea March 30th. Arraignment hearing. A trial is scheduled for May 15th. What? I have to look for that now, don't I? Let me write this down. Wouldn't that be something? I'm going to try. There's a couple trials that I do want to arraignment hearing. Okay. There is a few things I still want to do. I'm hoping when we get Starlink that I'll be able to do a little bit more as far as this stuff goes. So I've got that down. I'll see if I can find it. This is not Robinson's first time in jail, according to Whitman County prosecutor Dennis Tracy. Robinson has been involved in a number of Whitman County cases in the past 6 years. Most notably, he committed that second-degree assault in 2018 in Pullman, Washington, and was sentenced to 15 months in prison. He was investigated for possible charges of second-degree R in September of 2020. At the alleged victim request, no charge was filed. They scare people. They scare people from pressing charges. And a lot of times nothing happens with these guys. It would be great if the police could start charging them instead of expecting someone who has been attacked to do it, because a lot of times they won't. So let's see here. He was arrested in Pullman for suspicion of possession of a controlled substance with intent to deliver, with assaulting his companion at the time. Whoa. Tracy stated that the evidence in the D case turned out to be unusable in court due to problems with the search of a hotel room. Yeah, see? And this is the thing. Like, when the cops start making mistakes, this is a fairly serious mistake. You can't just go in and search someone's hotel without the proper paperwork. And a lot of these people get off due to that kind of stuff as well. So the assault case rested in Robinson pleading guilty in August 2021 to fourth-degree assault and to harassment. His sentence was 151 days in jail. They have to know that generally these people do not get better and their offenses get worse. Rons- Robinson had 5 misdemeanor charges of driving with a suspended license in 2017, for which he was sentenced to 5 days. Oh, and made a plea deal. He was charged with driving with a suspended license and driving without a valid ID in February. He did not show up for court, of course, so there was a warrant put out for him. According to University of Idaho, Young was majoring in journalism in the College of Letters, Arts, and Social Sciences. He was also a past president of the Alpha Kappa Lambda fraternity, and may he rest in peace. May he rest in peace. Hey there, James. Jazzy, oh, she knows how to get a cookie. Absolutely. So tell me, what is your weather like out there? Is it good? That's some photo. His barber should get 5 years. Right now, as far as the weather goes, we're getting, there's a lot of fires right now. So we've got a lot of smoke. Let's see. Let's take a look at this next. It's brief, but it's notable. So this is where he attacked that woman and was charged for R in the second degree after being arrested for a different charge of making a false or misleading statement to a public officer. According to the police report, the incident occurred in February 2020 when the victim met 2 men outside Stubblefields after the bar had closed. One of the men was Demetrius Robinson, who was 33 at the time. The 3 turned to the other man's Pullman residence where they allegedly consumed the snow before Robinson allegedly assaulted the victim. After the incident occurred, the victim contacted police and was admitted to the ER for an SA exam. He was arrested August 27th for making false statements and transported to the Pullman Police Department. While in the holding area, he was placed under arrest for the second degree R and later transferred to the Whitman County Jail. Yeah, this guy isn't going to get better. There's no getting better here. Here we go. Cold and gray today. Yeah, it's been an interesting spring. We have also had snow not long ago. So we had snow, and then the next day was hot, so all the snow left, and it was a dump of snow, but it was all gone. And then we had rain for about a week, and now we've got smoke. So I hope this is not an indication as to what the summer's going to have, because we don't usually have fires like these big ones this early in a season. So let's see, I got a couple more things to go through. So this again is about the death of, why is my brain shutting down? So here is a picture of the 2. She was a wannabe model. Don't know how that would work, but she was a wannabe model. And some people say he was a PIMP. I don't know. So it says 2 people were arrested on offenses after law enforcement connected them to an overdose related to the death of a 22-year-old man in Centralia on Tuesday. Officers at the Centralia Police Department responded about 9 a.m. on March 21st to report that a man who was found by his friends in an apartment at the 300 block of Borst Avenue was unconscious and not breathing, according to the news release from the police department. According to the friend, the man was visiting from the University of Idaho in Moscow and had attended a party in Seattle the night prior where he OD'd. He received care at Harborview Medical Clinic before he was discharged at about 2 a.m. And then he was picked up by the friend who lives in Centralia. So they're not saying it, but we can kind of maybe figure out who that might have been. A friend told the law enforcement the man went to sleep and stopped breathing shortly after the friend called 911, according to court documents. The man's official cause of death has not been released when a preliminary investigation revealed illegal D was used and involved the man's death. Centralia detectives launched a controlled substance homicide investigation, according to a news release from the Centralia Police Department. Due to the suspicion of fentanyl being involved, detectives requested assistance from the Joint Narcotics Enforcement Team, JNET. So the poisonous effects of fentanyl are killing individuals and devastating families. And you know what? It is. I honestly think anybody that's dealing with fentanyl, I mean, they would go and pick up people not long ago, and still in places in the US where you got picked up and thrown in jail for weed. So if they were able to do that, why are these people not getting extremely harsh sentences? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So with the recent amounts of deadly fentanyl that have seized in our area, the Centralia Police Department and JNET have made it a priority to not only reduce the manufacturing, distributing, and transportation of the illegal substances and guns within our community, but to also identify and arrest all subjects who involved in the delivery of illegal deadly fentanyl, the Centennial Police Department stated in a news release on Wednesday. So while law enforcement officials suspect fentanyl was involved, the two people arrested Tuesday, identified as Emma Bailey, 22, of Moscow, and Demetrius R. Robinson, 36, of Tacoma, are accused of delivering snow to a man shortly before he OD'd at a Seattle party. Because fentanyl is a highly addictive synthetic opiate, 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine. I haven't even taken morphine for pain. I can't imagine taking something that was 50 to 100 times stronger. Like, that's just scary. It's cheaper and more addictive than most controlled substances. It is frequently mixed into other drugs, including the snow. At the request, look at those. Like, that is scary to me. They press their own. They do all sorts of really bad things. They're putting them in gummy bears, this crap, to hide it from kids. Just, oh my word. At the request of detectives, the man's friend sent a social media message to Bailey and attempted to ruse her into a meetup to purchase more narcotics, but Bailey allegedly advised she was not willing to sell, that the man had died in these arms. Oh my God. And the man needed to get healthy. When law enforcement located Bailey and Robinson at a residence in Des Moines, Idaho, they reportedly found some loose white powder substance and several $100s in cash of small bills, assorted sizes of small baggies, bottles of white powder, vitamins, empty capsules, and a bag sold for the purpose of self-loading. What the frick? According to documents. Bailey and Robinson were booked into the Lewis County Jail at about 10 p.m. on Tuesday. They were each charged of one count of conspiracy to commit violation of the Uniform Controlled Substance Act. Lewis County Superior Court on Wednesday. The charge considered a Class B. Their bail is at $100,000, and there they sit. There they sit. That to me is when you get to messing around with fentanyl and all of that stuff and people die, that should, in my opinion, that's either a life sentence or, I mean, hang them high. I don't know. There's too many young kids that are being affected by this. Not only the young kids, but adults that should be taking care of their families have got addicted to this crap and are now sadly turning into junkies because of a substance that should never have been in any way available for public consumption. How you doing, Mexie? Happy Mother's Day. I don't understand why these kids would want to mess with something that will literally, blah, blah, will literally and has ruined their lives. That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. Didn't the US just make a bust that went from China to Guatemala to Mexico to the US? Didn't they just make something like 30 arrests? Kind of, I know one was El Chapo's sons. They were arrested. I'm not really like a wealth of information when it comes to transporting. I haven't researched it enough, but that's my understanding. And they've got to know every time that they sell this crap, they have somebody else's life on their hands, in their hands. And when something goes sideways, time to pay the piper. So let's see here. I've also got, this is in the Court of Appeals of the State of Washington, Division 3. State of Washington versus Demetrius Robinson. So this is his appeal versus the conviction for the 4th-degree assault and 2nd-degree assault. He contends that the 4th-degree assault convictions violates the prohibition against double jeopardy, and that the trial court violated its right to unanimously jury verdict, to his right to a unanimous jury verdict with respect to the 2nd-degree assault conviction. State concedes a double jeopardy issue. We affirm 2nd-degree assault conviction, but can remand for the trial court to vacate the 4th-degree assault conviction. Facts. On July 7th, 2018, Mr. Robinson spent the afternoon with Bright Johnson, drinking beer and spending time at 2 different complexes. Pools. They're in the pools. Later that evening, the 2 joined several other friends and acquaintances and went to various private parties around Pullman. The group eventually returned to the indoor pool area located at the campus on the early morning of July 8th. Mr. Robinson had plans to meet up with a friend, Madison Geidel. Miss Geidel arrived at the pool, saw Mr. Johnson. She retreated to her car and called Robinson, who came outside. Miss Geidel informed him that the night before she had been at a party where Mr. Johnson groped her and that seeing him was giving her a panic attack. Wow. Miss Geidel left, and Mr. Robinson, who was visibly frustrated, returned to the pool to find Mr. Johnson eating Mr. Robinson's food. Mr. Johnson eating Mr. Robinson's food. Oh, lordy dog. Mr. Robinson angrily confronted Mr. Johnson about eating his food, and Mr. Johnson got into the hot tub. Mr. Robinson kicked a cell phone charger into the pool and asked Mr. Johnson to get in the pool to retrieve it. So Mr. Johnson entered the pool, where he had difficulty reaching the charger that was at the bottom of the pool. While he was standing on the side of the pool, Mr. Robinson hit and kicked Mr. Johnson one more time. After receiving the charger, Mr. Johnson handed it to Mr. Robinson and pulled himself out of the pool to sit on the edge with his feet in the pool. The party disagreed to the exact sequence of events. Okay. While Mr. Johnson was sitting on the edge of the pool, Mr. Robinson took a swing at Mr. Johnson's face and then began punching and kicking him. Mr. Johnson attempted to escape across the pool deck to the hot tub, where Mr. Robinson caught him and attempted to hold Mr. Johnson's head underwater. Mr. Johnson managed to wiggle away, and at this point, 2 of the bystanders in the pool area ineffectually attempted to intervene before returning to their pool chairs. So what is this? Like, this is their entertainment for the day? Disgusting. So, and continue drinking, watching the incident unfold. Yep, upstanding humans. Mr. Robinson continued to pace around the hot tub, attempting to hit and kick Mr. Johnson, who retreated to the middle of the hot tub. Mr. Robinson threw a chair at Mr. Johnson, then removed his belt and tried to whip Mr. Johnson. He then proceeded to throw several empty beer bottles at Mr. Johnson. Good God. Mr. Robinson eventually emptied his pockets, jumped into the hot tub, at which point Mr. Johnson got out of the hot tub and tried to get away. He ran into a column. Oh my God, he ran into a column and fell down. Mr. Robinson proceeded to hit and kick him. Let's see here. The bystanders finally intervened and Mr. Johnson was able to escape. The entire episode from the time Mr. Robinson initially hit and kicked Mr. Johnson to when Mr. Johnson escaped was approximately 8 minutes. Mr. Johnson reported the incident to the Pullman Police Department, who was able to obtain the security camera footage of the incident from the campus commons apartments. They interviewed Mr. Johnson, who reported injuries to his ribs, jaw, and eye socket. Jazzy. We're having a stare down right now. You gotta be good. You gotta be good. So the state originally charged Mr. Robinson with 1 count of second-degree assault and alleged 3 alternative means: that he intentionally assaulted Mr. Johnson and thereby recklessly inflicted substantial bodily harm, assaulted by Mr. Johnson with a deadly weapon. Okay. What was that weapon? And assaulted Mr. Johnson by suffocation. Prior to the trial, the state amended the information to remove the substantial bodily harm alternative, which means to add 1 count of 4th-degree assault. What do you got? What do you got there? Bring it to me. She's tearing something apart of mine. Let me see what that was. Oh, good Lord. Give that to me. Oh, my God. It says I love my dog, and now you've half eaten it. Okay. Oh, my goodness. So let's see here. Prior to the trial, the state amended the information. Substantial bodily harm alternative means to add 1 count of 4th-degree assault based on the punches and kicks that occurred during the incident. The court instructed the jury on 2 alternative means of committing second-degree assault with a deadly weapon and assault by suffocation. The jury returned a verdict of guilty to both counts. Wow. The jury also returned a special verdict indicating it was not unanimous as to whether Mr. Robinson assaulted Mr. Johnson with a deadly weapon, but it was unanimous that Mr. Robinson assaulted Mr. Johnson by suffocation. What about all those kicks to the head and punches and eye sockets? And oh my God. The trial court sentenced Mr. Robinson to a standard range sentence of 15 months. Good God. Mr. Robinson filed an appeal. The analysis, and on appeal, Mr. Robinson's claims that the conviction for the 4th-degree assault violates and the prohibition on double jeopardy because it was based on the same acts underlying the second-degree assault conviction, and the state agrees. He also contends the court erred by giving the alternate means instructions for the second-degree assault count, and there were insufficient evidence that he assaulted Mr. Johnson with a deadly weapon. But I wonder what he had. That's my question. Like, what did he have? We address each argument in turn. Washington's double jeopardy clause offers the same scope of protection as that provided by the federal double jeopardy clause. Both prohibit multiple punishments for the same offense imposed in the same proceedings. This court reviews double jeopardy claims de novo and then lists a case and the number. The appropriate remedy for a double jeopardy violation is to vacate the offending convictions. When a defendant has multiple convictions under the same statutory provision, the court applies the unit of prosecution test to analyze claims of double jeopardy. Under this test, the court must determine neither party addressed whether Mr. Robinson raised this double jeopardy argument below. The record is silent as this issue to extend Mr. Robinson raises the argument for the first time on appeal. This court and the Supreme Court have often held that double jeopardy argument may be considered for the first time on appeal because the contention implicates a manifest error affecting a constitutional right. Whether the punishable act is each, good Lord, of the defendant's separate actions or the entire course. Assault is considered a course of conduct crime. A defendant cannot be convicted for two separate assaults when the acts underlying those two convictions are part of a single course of conduct. To determine whether multiple assaultive acts constitute a single course of conduct, the jury examines 5 factors: the length of time and... Are you serious? The length of time in which the assaultive acts took place, whether the assaultive acts occurred in the same location, the defendant intent or motivation for different acts, whether the acts interrupted or whether there was intervening acts or events, and whether there was an opportunity for the defendant to reconsider his actions. The majority of these factors weigh in the favor of finding a single course of conduct. The assaultive acts took place within approximately 8 minutes and occurred in the same location. The intent or motivation of the acts appeared to be the same. Mr. Robinson was upset at Mr. Johnson apparently groped Miss Geidel and that Mr. Johnson was eating Mr. Robinson's food. Good Lord, people! The acts were also generally uninterrupted. This was potentially an opportunity for Mr. Robinson to reconsider his actions when the bystanders initially attempted to intervene, and again when he made the decision to get out of the hot tub and chase him down, Mr. Johnson. However, the totality of the circumstances support a finding that this was a single course of conduct. So this is basically just saying that, let's see what the conclusion is here. We affirm Mr. Robinson conviction for second-degree assault, but remand the trial to vacate the fourth-degree assault conviction. Wow. A majority of the panel was determined this opinion will not be printed in the Washington Appellate reports, but it will be filed for public record pursuant to blah. And we've got everybody's signatures. I don't know. That sounds pretty cut and dry to me, does it not? He was a beast. Good Lord. Oh, Double Jeopardy, yes. Great show. Oh, yeah, she's singing a song of her people. Give me a bone. Wow. So, yeah, the reason I did a live on Demetrius is basically just the fact that we know he's been involved in some pretty nasty stuff. Everything from the D word to R word to just a nasty human. So there is that photo where you've got Emma, like I said, side by side. It seems like she is coming from the King Roadhouse. As to why she might be there, I have no idea. It does look like she was very much with the same woman that was in that car. So I'm not 100. Are you serious? Really? Oh my word. So yeah, they're trying to place these two because there seems to be a connection. There's also a connection with Emma to a previous roommate of Maddie's. So I haven't jumped down that rabbit hole too far. No, not a massive amount. They would be on our endangered. But there are a couple of reserves for them for sure. And there's also, like I said, they're protected. You don't want to be caught shooting one of those. Yes, the wolves. You should hear our neighborhood. One stops, and it's just like a chorus of dogs. Everybody's got at least 2 dogs. So, what do you guys think? Do you think him and Emma are involved with Kohberger at all? Do you think that there's some kind of connection that I can't see? Some of my friends over the years have had half wolf, half one was husky, and I don't know what the other ones were. Beautiful dogs, like absolutely beautiful dogs. The one, his dogs were still quite wild. So that is what I've got, guys, as far as Demetrius Robinson. Like I said, I just looked over the past. It's an interesting theory. Yeah, well said. I'm just thinking I may as well just put out what people are saying, and everyone can decide on their own if they think that this is attached. Canada's a pretty big place, Mexi. When I've been out and about, I have literally seen wolves one time. Wolf dogs, are they domesticated? Well, about as domesticated as you can get something that's half wild, right? The one fellow kept the wool, like his dogs were in like a big run, and you didn't really want to go anywhere near them. And then another fellow I knew, he had one, and that one was bred with somehow with a husky, I think husky. And oh my God, this dog was a love. I mean, you wouldn't want to mess with it, but yeah, very, very nice animal. But you know that they've got wild in them. So yeah, it's a beautiful spot living in the mountains. There's really not too much for animals we don't get. So guys, I think I am going to jump off. I've got real world things to do today. And I also want to look at Emma for a little while. So as always, I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.